Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to Junior Church. I'm Mr. Aaron. I was so happy to see those who came out to the drive-through service this past Sunday night. Man, soon we will be back together in class, but until then, we're going to enjoy each other here online. Let's get into the lesson.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of Junior Church. We're going to start off with a really fun song today. Do the motions with us, okay? I've got a river of life.
Alright, boys and girls, it's Bible verse time. Our verse will be found in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 5. Let's see what the Bible has to say. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Well, first, what is wisdom? Wisdom is not knowing all things. Wisdom is knowing right from wrong, knowing truth. Well, what is truth? Well, truth is found in the Word of God. So that is wisdom, is the truth of the Word. Let's look at the word liberal. What does liberal mean? The verse says, and giveth to all men liberally, meaning God will give it to anybody, no matter your color, race, your status. Anybody who asks. Big, tall, skinny, big, anybody can ask, and God says He will give it to you. Let's look down a little further. It says, and upbraideth not. What does upbraideth not mean? It means God will not hold back. If God said He's going to do something, He is going to do it. He tells us if we lack wisdom, He gives it to everybody who asks Him and will not hold back. So I encourage you today, know truth, know wisdom, ask God, and His Bible tells us He will give it to us. Let's go over that verse one more time. James chapter 1, verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening.
All right, boys and girls, it's time to have our lesson now. Why don't you have a seat, sit quietly, pay close attention. We have a really exciting lesson for you today. But first, we're going to sing Sanctuary together, okay? So sing with us. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Imagine if God gave you a single wish. What would you ask for? Money, power, maybe even 3 more wishes? In today's lesson, a man named Solomon will be given this very opportunity. God tells Solomon he will give him anything that he asks for. Solomon makes the brilliant request for wisdom. So God responds by making Solomon the wisest person who has ever lived. But true wisdom isn't just knowing a lot of things. True wisdom is knowing the truth and then applying that truth in our lives. And this lesson that Solomon learned was very painful. He had wisdom, but he still searched for meaning and purpose in empty things like money, power, and possessions. Our prayer is that through this lesson, you would come to see what matters most in life. That things like money, possessions, are empty and they can never bring fulfillment to our life. Nothing this world offers can even come close to loving and worshiping God.
King David's reign had come to an end, and Israel was ready for a new king. God told the priest Zadok and the prophet Nathan to go to David's son Solomon and anoint him king over all Israel. Solomon was very happy to be king. After he was crowned, he went to worship the Lord. He offered hundreds of sacrifices to show God how much he loved him. That night, as the exhausted King Solomon fell into a deep sleep, he had a dream. God gave him a message in the dream. "Solomon, whatever you want, I'll give it to you," God said. God wanted to bless King Solomon because God knew that the people of Israel needed a good king that loved the Lord. Solomon thought about the dream and knew exactly what to ask God. He did not need any more money or possessions. Instead, as the leader of a great people, he needed wisdom. God answered his prayer, and Solomon became the wisest man in the world. In addition to making him wise, God also made him very rich and honorable. Solomon's first great job was to build the new temple. This temple was one of the most beautiful and expensive buildings in the world. Solomon ordered precious wood, valuable stone, much gold, silver, and fine cloth. The new temple would be a marvel of beauty because it was the house of God. 7 years later, when the temple was finally finished, everyone in Israel came to the celebration. They offered thousands of sacrifices, prayed long prayers, and sang many songs. God was very happy and filled the temple with the light of his glory. The people praised God with all their hearts. But something sad happened to Solomon. Solomon was so rich and could have anything his heart desired. What he desired more than anything else was wives. So Solomon got them, hundreds of them. He had 1,000 women that he treated as his wives. Solomon disobeyed God, as God said that a king should only have one wife. These new wives came from all over the world. They did not know the one true God and worshipped false idols. They turned Solomon's heart away from God, and soon Solomon started praying to these false gods as well. Disobedience became prevalent, and soon God's blessing on Solomon would be revoked. God punished Solomon and told him that his kingdom would be split in two. After Solomon's reign, his son would be rejected by the people of Israel. As wise as Solomon was, his wisdom, riches, and women brought him destruction, and God rejected him as king.
Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. Trust
So here we have God who spoke to Solomon in a dream and told Solomon, ask for anything and I will give it to you. What Solomon asked for? Wisdom. But what happened? What happened to Solomon? See, just like in these past couple weeks, we've been talking about staying focused on God. Solomon lost focus. See, sometimes in this world, we watch TV and we see these actors and we see these lives, these perfect lives in our own mind. Riches, money, fame. And we focus on that. And we want that. See, that's what happened to Solomon. He had wisdom. But just like we in the intro, we said, wisdom isn't knowing all things. Wisdom is knowing truth. And that was what happened to Solomon. He focused on the wants of this life, of this world. Lost focus. So what do we need to do? We need to focus on God. We need to focus on Jesus. We need to focus in the world. We need to ask for wisdom, but get our wisdom through the truth of the Bible. God will lead you, God will direct you to the will that He has for you. He has a reason and a purpose for every single one of us. But we must seek Him. We must go and find Him. And He will direct our paths. Well, boys and girls, we've come to the closing part of the lesson. I loved hanging out with you today. Let me tell you what, in the link below, all your worksheets are going to be there. Have your parents help you out, print them out, give them to Mr. Andrew. All his contact information will be on the sheets. Man, I wish I could see you guys in person, but soon we will be together. Until then, you guys, I love you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great week.
Thanks for joining us again for Junior Church today, guys. We had a great time with you. We're looking forward to seeing you at church next week. We won't have Junior Church quite yet. We're going to wait a few more weeks for that. We'll be recording each week for you until we get started. But we'll see you at church this Sunday. We hope you guys have a great week. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Our refuge and strength, we will not fear. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. A refuge and strength, our only strength. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth be removed, though the mountains be cast into the sea. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth be removed, though the mountains be cast into the sea. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. A refuge and strength, we will not fear. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. A refuge and strength, our only strength. Bye. See you next week.
2, 1.
Pound it!
Noggin!
I forgot. Oh. See ya!